And hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Guys Talking Sports. I'm Pat McDonald with Radigan Media. He's Tim Burney of the Sports Reports. Coming up on this episode, we're going to preview this weekend's state quarterfinal matchups over at Vestal High School. We're also going to have an interview with the Owego Free Academy quarterback, Garrett Phelps, and offensive lineman and defensive lineman, Dylan Davis. A great conversation with them, Tim.
Yeah, I got a lot of insight from both those young men. It was an interesting conversation. I'm really, I told them I kind of sold them short all year long. I was happy to see them win that Section 4 title, and I'm rooting for them to go a long way.
So let's start right there with Owego, New Hartford coming up this Saturday over at Vestal High School in the state quarterfinals. New Hartford, a really strong squad right there. Undefeated on the year, I believe, 11-0, coming off a win over Institute of Technology, 37-14 in their section final.
Yeah, good quarterback, good running back, talented wide receiver, solid up front. From what I've seen, I don't know if they're as good up front as Owego. A source close to the team tells me that they're not quite Owego's caliber up front, so that could be a big key for the Riverhawks.
Or even Waverly's caliber, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, New Hartford averaging offensively 43.8 points a game, but their defense giving up 17.8, which is basically double what Owego's giving up, right? So that's a little bit of good news there.
Yeah, I went to college for 4 years up in Central New York, and I still have a lot of friends up there. A couple of them that have coached at C&D level, and both of those guys tell me that when the Section 3 teams come down to play Section 4. The biggest difference in the game is the physicality. That Section 3 teams rarely can match the physicality of Section 4 in the small school ranks. And we've seen that year in and year out with Tioga playing against those Section 3 teams. I don't know if that's going to be the case here, but I think they have to prove they can hang with Owego because Owego's physical and they're athletic. Defensively, they're going to get after you. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch to see if New Hartford scoring 44 points a game can put up more than the 10 or 9 points that Owego's allowing.
When you hear from Dylan Davis in a few minutes here, he talked about how Waverly was a high-powered offense too before Owego, held them to 21 points over 2 games, right? So I think they're confident their defense can stand up. And my question is, can they keep coming up with big plays that aren't offensive? Last couple of weeks, the kickoff return against Main Endville, pick 6. A pick 6 against Waverly. I think I mentioned it last episode where they're kind of reminding me of the Philadelphia Eagles where, they're coming up with a big play here or there and maybe not on offense. I think
different guys doing it though.
And that sometimes teams have that knack too.
Yep, exactly. And you talked about Waverly. Main Endwell had scored 55 points a game over the 3 games before they played Owego and then scored 16, in the semifinals. So yeah. And Owego all year long has shown the knack to have the big play defensively, and or special teams.
They seem to be putting together, like I said yesterday on the last episode, I should say, their offense seems to be getting better and better each week. Limiting the penalties, maybe in the red zone, has been key to some recent success offensively.
Well, they scored from outside the that zone a couple times too.
That's huge too. Yeah,
Brace went 44 yards on the real big score right to start the second half that made it a 2-touchdown game again. That really, I think, broke Waverly's back. So yeah, I love Dylan Brace. He's a stud. He's fast and he's not afraid to put his head down for that extra yard. And then Dom Scherer, the big fullback, I would give him the ball 10, 12 times a game too. They've got, Farrell, they run him on that little scissors play and they're dangerous. They got 4 or 5 kids that can hurt you. And then not to mention Garrett Phelps, we talk about it. Dylan Davis talks about how he gives the offensive line a boost a lot of times when he's not afraid to put his nose down and pick up that extra yard.
Yeah, he's doing a great job just running that, managing that offense. They don't let him throw a ton. He had one nice completion last week where you see that completion and you're like, man, they should do that more. It was a nice little seam route by Farrell. But, yeah, it's just he's running that offense well, and you need those, game manager types. But also, like you said, he's tough as nails.
Well, if you think about it, I asked him this question too. He didn't get a ton of reps last year. Second team reps late in games, when they were winning big, and he comes out and, 5 of his first 10 starts on varsity are against Sinango Forks, Waverly, and Main Endwell. I mean, 3 of the best programs in New York State, and that's who he's playing in half his games against.
Then you had Horseheads, who was a defending champs in Class A. So it was a tough schedule for Owego, and that's always huge. If you can get through that, ringer of a schedule and come out on the other side, you're prepared and you can play anybody. So let's put us on the spot here. Pick. What are you thinking for Owego, New Hartford?
I've been selling them short all year. I'm not doing it this week. What I saw from them the other night, I think they're, like you said, their offense seems to be putting together a little bit. Defensively, they're good. And like I said, Class D and C over the last 10 to 15 years has really had struggle matching with physicality. Section 3's had trouble matching the Section 4 physicality. And if there's one thing you can say about this Owego team is they're physical. So I like Owego, say, 20-13.
Yeah, similar score. I think I'm going to go with Owego, go with the home squad, and I just think that defense is really legit. And I think I picked this score last week for Owego Waverly, 14-13 the other way. But I think maybe that's a score this week, is if Owego's defense can stand up and just get enough offense, and maybe, who knows, another pick six, another kickoff returns in the cards. We didn't talk about it. I think it's Sam Sherwood, the kickoff return a couple weeks ago, so he's dangerous there too. So yeah, I like Owego just getting enough offense to get the job done, maybe 14-13 to advance to the state semifinals, which would be huge for that program.
I think you might see a little more offense out of them this week than, they ran the ball very effectively against a very good Waverly defense last week. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a heavy dose of Dylan Brace with a little more share up the middle, and some counters to Farrell or the other stuff share. So I mean, we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
And I wouldn't be shocked if they're keep their trend going of holding teams that are under 10 points too. if that Owego defense can keep that up, they're going to go a long way. Let's go to Tioga Friday night. They are going to take on Lowville at Vestal High School, 5:00 Friday. Tioga back in the state quarterfinals after just taking a breather last year, taking a year off.
Yeah, lost in overtime by 1.
Yeah, and with a very injured team last year, obviously. But Tioga back in the state playoffs, looking to make another run to the Dome, which has been their home away from home under Coach Aiello last few years. But what do you think? Obviously, Lowville coming in, averaging 38 points a game offensively, and only giving up 10.6. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think Section 4 Class D was as strong this year as it has been the last 5 to 10 years. Dolgeville lost a lot. They were the team that came back. I think Dolgeville's only 2 losses were to Lowville. I think they gave Lowville their two best games. I know Lowville's got a big quarterback who runs the ball, dangerous, decent, pretty good sized running back as well. I know they're big up front. I don't know how physical they are up front. Again, Tioga comes and hits you. So, and that's been the difference in the Nick Aiello era. That's why they had so much success. They're 11-0 against 3 Section 3 teams in his tenure, and the point differential is mind-boggling. I believe it's like 50-14. I don't think it'll be that lopsided this week, but I do like Tioga. I think Tioga, it may take them a little while, but I think they get that ground game going, and they can throw the ball a little bit too. They've got Palmer and Albrecht, Gavin Albrecht and Dominic Palmer that are pretty decent receivers, and sophomore Josh Rout has turned into a nice weapon for them as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have to air it out a little bit, they have a little success.
Yeah, it's starting to remind me of the teams from a couple years ago there with Bellis and Duncanson, the older Duncanson, and all those guys, Sickler. Just so many weapons offensively that you saw. I mean, we even saw Big Platukas getting some carries this week after not getting a ton of carries recent weeks. Bellis just taking over in the second half last week. I think obviously he's your workhorse, but you could also go to Duncanson on the outside. And
they did that early. I mean, they were keying on Bellis. And like I said, I think he only had his first 4 carries. He had like 6 yards and 2 of them for negative. They stopped him in the backfield twice. And then Tioga started running the ball wide with Duncanson. Then they had a couple quick dives. One of them, Stoddard, took 34 yards for a touchdown. Then they ran a scissors play. Palmer scored on a 15-yard touchdown. I think that was the first touchdown. So they started using other guys, and once they scored 2 touchdowns really without Bellis. And Trumansburg had to adjust defensively. And once they adjusted to try to stop everybody else, they didn't stop anybody.
No, I think that by the second half, Trumansburg's defense was worn down by that Tioga offense line, and that's what they do to you with Coach McCauley, the line coach there in Tioga. And I'd love to see they run that Palmer, on the end around, that kind of stuff. I'd love to see some motion off or counters off that maybe or something with that
or
at
reverse.
some point. Yeah. It's So he's a weapon on the outside there for them. Obviously, like you said, Albrecht.
Maybe you can send a 4-time state championship coach
I'll
Nick Aiello a little text about that.
Run. But I mean, they're so dangerous and so multifaceted running the ball, and then like you said, Jack Bombard he's got an arm. We saw in the Deposit Hancock game, and
he throws really well on the run. And he throws it like he's right-handed. He's rolling left, and he throws a nice ball. That's not easy to do. So
and late in that game against T-Berg there, he kept her on the outside too for a long run, which was a key.
I think it was 4th and 13.
Yeah.
And that was the only time they ran a quarterback. He was the carrier. It was a quarterback designed quarterback sweep. He had everybody out in front of him. It was like an old student body left. He had everybody out in front of him, and he got 15 or 14 yards on 4th and 13. And that was a big play. So
Tioga rolling right now. They go to the state quarterfinals this Friday night, 5 o'clock start at Vestal High School. We'll have that game on Choice 102 and WEBO. So what do you think? Tioga, Lowville. I'm going to go. I think Tioga 35-14. I just think Tioga's too much.
Yeah, I was going to say 34-20.
And so, we both have Tioga winning and moving on. And like you said, they've been dominating Section 3 in the Aiello era. And so they're looking to get back to Cicero, North Syracuse. Somehow a high school stadium looks like a college stadium there. Elevators up to the press box and everything.
It is nicer than some of the Division III programs you go around here.
So hoping to take the ride with the Tioga up to Cicero, North Syracuse.
There's actually parking there
right behind it. Yeah, right there.
I mean, it's amazing.
It's a great setup up there, Cicero, North Syracuse. Hopefully we have a couple of our teams heading that way next weekend. They got to get through this weekend first, though. Speaking of getting through this weekend, let's go to Elmira. Obviously, kudos to them. Third straight Section 4 Class AA title. They roll over Corning. It's tough to beat Mike Johnson's team a couple times in a year. But now you get to take on the 2-time defending state champion Christian Brother Academy from Syracuse, averaging 44.9 points a game, giving up just 8.6 points a game.
Who put a hurting on Elmira last year in the state quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So they've got 3 Division I kids going to Syracuse and a 4th Division I kid that's a heavy lean to Syracuse. So, they've already proven they can win state titles by winning the last 2. And I feel bad. I'd love to see Coach Mack's team up there do well, but this is a really, really tough challenge for them.
Yeah, obviously, just a great season to get to this point. And unlike Class D and C in Section 3, I think Section 4 is at the disadvantage when it comes to AA.
Well, partly because there's only 3 teams in AA in all of Section 4. And Syracuse has got more AA schools in the city than Section 4's got throughout the whole section.
So I think CBA, unfortunately, name your score. We've said this a couple times in the past with different teams. 42-6.
I was going to say 54-6. So
yeah. Let's go to Class A football as Union Endicott got the 21-20 win over Horseheads. They get to take on a Whitesboro team that beat East Syracuse Manoa 21-7. So Whitesboro 10-1 on the year, taking on UE. That's going to be Friday night, 8 o'clock at Vestal High School.
I know Whitesboro, the year 2023 when Waverly and Tioga were both at the Dome, Whitesboro played. They were there too. I don't remember if they won or not. So that's a program that's been to the Dome recently. Probably a lot of those kids played on that team. So Union Endicott, I liked Union Endicott and when I saw them against Waverly, but I don't know if they can hang with one of the big dogs in the state.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Whitesboro there. Although you never know, UE's had a tough schedule, so they've been through the ringer there. So
yeah, because Not only
That's
they
the good
played,
news.
Class A's solid in Section 4, and they played Maine Endwell and Waverly, and so they are battle tested. But like I said, Whitesboro's a pretty good program. So
Shenango Forks undefeated on the year. They're going to be taking on General Brown, so no stranger to that trip to Vestal for General Brown. I know Waverly played them, I think, a couple years ago.
That was at Syracuse.
Up there, yeah.
That was a CSN.
But in the state quarterfinal matchup, so General Brown taking on the number one team of the state in Shenango Forks. Looking at the schedule here, General Brown 10-1 on the year. Their one loss was to Lowville, actually.
Yeah, yep.
So that's it's a good win for Lowville there against General Brown. What a game in the section finals there. General Brown 51-49 over Cazenovia.
And Cazenovia is another program. Both those programs are perennially in that section or that Section 3 championship game. General Brown in 2022 put on they were lucky to get to the game against Waverly. It was supposed to be played at noon, and because of a blizzard the 2 days before that, it dumped more than 5 foot of snow on the General Brown's hometown. They ended up playing the game at 6 o'clock on Saturday instead of noon, so that General Brown could get there, and it didn't deter them at all. They run a kind of an offense like Corning does, except it's a little more wide open. It's not quite the closed wing tee, and they put a hurting on Waverly that year in some nasty weather. So, I think Forks, I've said it all year, they're the best team in Section 4 regardless of class. Now they're at the States. I'll be surprised if they lose, But General Brown might be the one team that could give them a battle. So
yeah, I'll go with Forks there as well. I think the only one we haven't talked about is 8-man football. That's going to be, was it Unitigo, Franklin?
Yep. Yeah, they beat Moravia.
There's another one in there, right?
It's
GMS or
GMU. Gilbert and Mount Upton.
Okay.
So I looked that up after last week when we didn't know what it was. Yeah.
We'll be taking on Eldred football. Eldred 9-2 on the year. Where's that game being played? That's not at Vestal, right?
I believe it's at Dryden.
Dryden, okay.
But I'm not 100% sure on that. But I know that used to be. What's that?
I'm just looking at the score.
Well, it used to be Auto Eldred.
Yeah.
And that was Cowanesque Valley's rivalry game.
Oh, across the border there?
Yeah, across the border. And then they went away and started playing 8-man.
I love 8-man football. Eldred beat Sullivan West 76-60 in the section finals last week. So that's it. If you haven't watched 8-man football, it can be really fun to watch offensively. Takes a really good defense. I mean, there's some games in here, 21-0. It was 21-0, and then they forfeited. It looked like Fallsburg against Eldred, so it must have been 21-0 in the first minute. But a lot of scoring in 8-man football.
I don't claim to know anything about either one of these teams. I know Unitigo beat a pretty good Edison team, and then they beat a pretty good Moravia team. So Section 4 has done really well in 8-man over the last few years. So, but I don't know anything about Eldred. So
it'll be fun to watch. Hopefully, the Section 4 teams do well. Before we send it to our interview with Garrett Phelps and Dylan Davis from the Owego Free Academy Riverhawks, let's send it to our friends at UHS Sports Medicine.
UHS Sports Medicine is your team's partner, keeping you healthy both on and off the field. Learn more at nyuhs.org.
And join us now here on Two Guys Talking Sports, our Owego Free Academy seniors, Garrett Phelps and Dylan Davis. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Doing good. Doing good. How are you?
Doing really well.
Listen, guys, quite a game Friday night. You guys made history. You've had a couple days to think on it. First ever Section 4 title for the Riverhawks program. Start with you, Garrett. Your thoughts on making history like that.
I think it's great. First time in history. I'm just all the work that we've put in the off season beforehand truly paid off, and it's just great. Feels great.
Yeah, Dylan, what was that moment like at the end when you make a couple stops there late and you can feel it? You're just kind of counting down, waiting for that clock to finally tick away, right? What was that moment like when the clock finally struck 0?
Yeah, those last couple minutes, they were long. We knew we had won the game, and when it finally ended, it was just we were in disbelief. we knew we had the guys to get it done, and we got it done.
Yeah, talk about obviously a lot of people after last year. You lose 19 seniors, a lot of starters, right? A lot of people doubted you this year.
I was one of them, guys. I'll admit it.
What Garrett kind of talked about going into this year when people, were picking you to maybe finish third in the Section 4 Class B, maybe. What was that like, and did you use that as motivation going into this year?
Yeah, a lot of guys didn't really have us going far this year, and definitely not winning sectional. So that definitely gave me and all the boys in the locker room a lot of motivation going into the season. And, these past few weeks with, Maine won the first round and Waverly this past Friday gave us a lot of motivation to go out there and prove everybody wrong.
Garrett, let me ask you a question here. You didn't get a ton of reps last year as a junior. Then you come out this year and you start the season off against Shenango Forks, and you play Waverly and Maine Endwell, and then you play them again. That's a hell of a ride for you. Talk a little bit about where you were at the beginning of the season compared to where you are now.
Yeah, it was definitely tough because I didn't get a lot of reps last year, but the reps I did get last year, I definitely, I didn't take them for granted. I tried to do my best, try to learn, with those varsity reps. And I really think that helped going into this year. Starting off with Forks, that's a good team, with what they're doing right now. They just won sectionals. Then we went to go play Waverly, Horseheads, Minot. Yeah, it's not an easy schedule, but, we muscled through it. And, I think I learned through every game this year. I think I've gotten better trying to lead the guys to what we just did this past Friday.
Garrett, how big was it to have guys like Dylan in that offensive line to protect you? You guys were able to control the line of scrimmage in pretty much every game you played. So how big is that to have a good offensive line as a quarterback?
It's huge. I don't think me or anybody else on the team could have done anything without them. It was just, it's truly clutch having those kind of guys on the line.
Dylan, talk a little bit about, like I said, you played Shenango Forks, probably the best Class C team in the state. You played Waverly with a really good offensive line, Forks too, Maine Endwell. Talk a little bit about playing in the trenches against those three teams, and you had 5 games against those guys.
Oh, yeah, they're big physical teams, and I love it. I know all the guys up front love it. It's a good test for us and gives us a chance to go out there and show what we work for.
Yeah, Dylan, talk about having, obviously, Coach Taylor. It must help that he's the strength guy for the school, right? So talk about that weightlifting program you guys have at Owego.
Yeah, so he's always pushing everybody to get in the weight room, especially the big boys. And I think that's really showed this year and last year how when you're consistent in the weight room, it really pays off on the football field. What's
it like, Dylan, we'll start with you, to have, there's been a lot of excitement the last few years for Owego Free Academy football for the first time in a while, but now to get it done and to see the whole Riverhawk community kind of rally around you guys.
Yeah, it's huge. The past couple of years, we've been getting better and better each year, and it finally paid off, and we knew we could get it done. So we went out there and showed it, and the community rallied behind us, and it's awesome.
Now, did either your dads play for Owego football back in the day?
Yeah, mine did.
So you have this over him then from now on, right? You're a section champ.
Oh, yeah. Sure
do. Garrett, what's it like for you stepping in? Everybody as a kid playing football wants to be QB1 of their high school team, right? What's it like for you senior year getting to lead your team to a section championship as a quarterback?
It's very surreal. It's just I can't really put words to it. It's just great having the opportunity to do this. I'm going to say it again. I'll keep saying I couldn't have done it with all my boys.
Garrett, talk, and then you, Dylan first, I guess. Talk a little bit about the fact that you lost your regular season matchups with Maine Endwell and Waverly. You can't even write this stuff, if you're writing a movie. Then you come back and you beat both these teams to win the program's first ever championship. That's got to be pretty sweet too.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's like straight from a movie. It gave us kind of an extra chip on our shoulder, knowing that these guys had the edge on us the first time that we played them, and we were able to get it done. And our coaches gave us a great game plan, and we followed through and beat them.
How about you, Garrett?
Yeah, it gave us a lot of motivation to get those wins back from the losses. It's just yeah, I don't think we would have been able to do it without our coaches' game plans and everybody working together to, meet the goal, win sectionals.
Garrett, how much did that first loss to Maine Endwell on the pick six put a sting into you guys?
It put a huge sting into us because I feel like going into that game, we wanted that game so bad because, the past 3 years, we haven't been able to pull it off against them. But so that just gave us a lot of motivation to get back and win the game.
Yeah, talk about so you win sectionals, but now the new goal starts, right? So what's this week or first day of practice? We're talking on a Monday night, obviously. What's the feeling like in the program right now, heading into state quarterfinals? Garrett.
Yeah, we're just gonna take each game one game at a time, and this program has never been this far in history, so it's just we're gonna try to keep the train going and take a win.
Now, Dylan, I'd have to think that winning this Section 4 title, you're going into states like Garrett said for the first time ever. I would have to think the pressure's kind of off you guys, isn't it? Now you just kind of play loose and easy?
Yeah, you could think that, but I think the pressure's still on. We're still trying to go out there and prove ourselves every day, try and go 1-0 each week and keep shocking the world.
So, I mean, obviously the old saying is, and I said on the radio Friday night, that defense wins championships, and you guys proved that Friday night. But now you take on a good New Hartford team. Their New Hartford offense averaging 43.8 points a game, right? So yeah. What's it going to take? Have you watched any film on them yet? And what's it going to take to get the job done Saturday at 3 o'clock, Dylan?
Yeah, all guys on the field are going to have to be firing all game long, be fired up from the beginning. And Waverly's a high-powered offense as well, and if we can set the tone early like Nolan Card did Friday night, then it should be a good day.
Yeah, what was that like for you, obviously, to see Nolan pick that off, race 45 yards? Dylan, what was that momentum swing like that early? I mean, third play of the game, and it kind of was, I said on the air, maybe the play, like the Card might have got player of the game just from that play to put the momentum on your side.
Yeah, it was electric. I mean, it started with Lucas Bocassini. He tipped the pass right into Nolan Card's hand. And our coach, our defensive coordinator, he drew up a perfect plan for Card to get an interception on their hitch route. And he was able to get it done the best way imaginable. How
did you dominate kind of as a defensive line and a defense as a whole? Dylan, what was that game plan like against Waverly? Like you said, they're a high-powered offense too, and really were able to put up points at will throughout most of the year. What was the game plan going in, and what made you guys so successful?
Oh, yeah, we just got to stick to our keys. All 11 guys have their keys, and Coach TJ does a great job installing that into our head. And we stick by our keys and play physical and show we can win games.
Garrett, talk a little bit about not only your offensive line, but, boy, Dylan Brace is a stud. And, Big Dom Scherer had a couple real nice carries. He's a big boy. You've got some weapons to hand the ball off to.
Yeah, it's definitely clutch. That does not happen without our line. So thanks to them. I mean, yeah, we got boys in the backfield that can do it and get it done, but it doesn't start without the line.
Dylan, a lot of people I've talked to this year, and I've seen you guys play 3 times now, and I've seen it firsthand, but a lot of people I talk to talk about Garrett's willingness to take a hit running the football, and he just bounces back up every time. Does that send a signal to the offensive line when your quarterback's willing to take a hit like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen him take some huge hits this year. Sometimes you don't like to see him, but it really gets us fired up when he can take a hit and get up and keep the ball moving.
And Garrett, obviously a run-based offense. I think he threw one pass, and it was a nice completion to Farrell right there. So what's it like, obviously, as a quarterback that, in a running offense, are you looking to throw more, or is that in your back pocket, you think, in the playoffs? That you might have to come up big with if they can stop the run a little bit, you're going to have to start slinging it all over the field?
I mean, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win. So, if our coach has a game plan, whether we're running or throwing more.
I don't know. Coach Taylor's out of the Jim Haggerty school, so I don't think the forward pass won't be a big part of your offense. But, hey, the last couple of weeks, Nolan Card made the big play this past week, but John Farrell made a couple really big plays for you guys 2 weeks before that. Everybody talks about how big and physical you are up front and how good your front seven is, but you've got some guys, some athletes in the back end of that defense that have made some big plays for you this year too. Your thoughts on that, Dylan?
Yeah, we've got guys all over the place that can step up and make a play. Whole lot of juniors, and Nolan Card being a sophomore. There's a bright future ahead for this team.
And my final question, what's it going to take Saturday, 3 o'clock at Vestal to get the job done, Garrett?
I think it's just going to have to take, our offense staying on schedule, all 11 guys being on the same page and trying to meet the common goal is to be 1-0 for the week.
And Dylan, what are you expecting fan-wise? I'm assuming all of Owego and Appalachian will be making the trip over to Vestal.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty close to a home game, so should be loud and should be real awesome.
All right, that is Owego Free Academy senior quarterback Garrett Phelps, senior lineman Dylan Davis. Thanks for stopping by, Two Guys Talking Sports. Good luck in the state quarterfinals on Saturday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
And we want to thank Garrett Phelps and Dylan Davis from Owego's football team. They're getting ready to play in their first ever state playoff game in program history after making history last week, winning the school's first ever Section 4 football championship. It should be a great weekend of high school football at Vestal High School there. 2 games Friday night, Tioga at 5, UE at 8, and then Shenango Forks at noon, Owego at 3, and then finally Elmira at 6. So the Section 4 teams competing. But looking forward to it. I'm going to be calling the Tioga game Friday night on the radio on Choice 102 and WBO. We'll have Owego on WBO.
And I'll be doing all 3 games for different sports reports publications, and should be fun. I'm looking. I think the first 2 games could be very Tioga and Owego could be very entertaining, and I think CBA will be very entertaining to watch. I'm hoping Elmira can make a game of it, but we'll see.
And then before we go, let's talk real quickly. State swimming coming up.
Yeah, Waverly's going to have 7 girls at states. Mira Kittle will be swimming in 2 events. Lauren Wells will be swimming in 2 events. They've got all 3 relays going. It's going to be fun. They've got a chance to bring home some hardware. Incredible program, and the best thing about it is, Mira Kittle is a senior. Olivia Cheresnowski, who's swimming on a couple of the relays, is a senior. Lauren Wells, a sophomore. The rest of the girls going are freshmen. So this is a program that's going to make some waves for the next couple of years. It's fun to watch. It's been a fun story to cover, and it's just getting started because these freshmen and Lauren Wells are going to do some more damage to the record book, I think, over the next couple of years.
Mira Kittle wrapping up what feels like a 10-year career at Waverly Swimming.
And she just
been in the headlines every day since her 7th grade, 8th grade year.
She is just, you watch her in the water and it's like effortless, and she's just powerful through the water. It's fun to watch.
You know where she's going? Does she have a
She hasn't decided
choice
yet. I asked her for an exclusive. I don't know if I'll get it, but we'll see.
And then finally, Candor volleyball making another run to state semis.
And the other thing I should mention, too, is Owego sophomore Isla Young will be in the 1-meter diving championships. Nice. Everything is at Webster Aquatic Center in Webster, New York. But she's competing Friday afternoon. Only a sophomore, so she's got a couple more years to make her mark as well. Yeah, the Candor volleyball team, the only one from our coverage areas, to Owego was swept in the Class A final, and Horseheads had a 2-0 lead and got beat by Warwick in 5 sets. But Candor swept Section 10 runner-up Tupper Lake. They got the wild card. They had the chore. They win the wild card and end up with a defending state champion. So now Candor will go up to pool play Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And they'll have Meikle out of Section 2, Weedsport out of Section 3, and New York out of Section 5. They'll play everybody twice, and the top 2 teams from the pool play will advance to Sunday mornings, I think 11 o'clock Sunday morning, for the championship game.
Awesome.
Weedsport, I don't know much about York or about the other 3 teams. I know Weedsport's been there recently. I think York is always, on the cusp of things up in Section 5. I don't know anything about Meikle. If I'm a betting man, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, Candor's the defending state champ. So I'm hoping that Pam Quinlan can get her 5th state title.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, good luck to Candor volleyball and to all the football teams and swimmers from Waverly and throughout the Section 4 at States. That's going to do it for this week's Two Guys Talking Sports episodes. We'll be following along football as long as they go and then into the winter season. But looking forward to some more episodes next week. We don't know. Well, it depends on who wins and moves on. And
might have to break out some winter coaches.
Yeah, so we'll have some more episodes coming up next week of Two Guys Talking Sports.